J-Bones and J-Quan celebrating Christmas this year at the historic Choosewood Banquet Hall, starting at 7. BYOB. Yes, we're kicking it old school, so you know it's grown and sexy when you mention those 4 alphabet letters, BYOB. So check him out. He's on Facebook, he's everywhere. Plus, everybody knows where to catch J-Bones at. So, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays to everyone. I appreciate you supporting DJs and Entertainment. Vincent Irving, aka DJV on YouTube. Continue to subscribe. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
The king of line dance. Thanks so much, Mr. T-Roach. T-Roach.
Yes, sir.
Definitely a DJ. So with a DJ, you always got that favorite piece of equipment. What is yours?
Wow. You know, I would actually have to say for me, because of the time span from the 70s to the 80s, when you're just using phonographs and things like that, it would have to be when I got introduced to 1200 turntable in 1985.
Technic 1200, the classic.
Yep. I had to save up. I saved up $500, ordered it out of a magazine.
Wow.
And then, you know, got it, and I had a turntable, that one, and a regular turntable.
Wow.
So look, anything I wanted to try to mix, I had to do was use the 1200. Anything I would start a set off with, I would start with the regular turntable.
How creative did we have to be back in the day because of budgetary constraints?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It was another year before I saved up for the second one.
Beautiful. T-Roach, who had man, how long have you been DJing?
Well, officially 43 years. If you want to count them 2 high school years, it's almost 45.
Exactly. We're hitting on almost 6 decades, aren't we?
Yep, 2020 would be decade number 6.
So it would almost seem you would be the mentor, but as I understand, you do have some mentors. Who are they?
Oh yeah, I had two that were, I mean, without them, I know I wouldn't be where I'm at. Number 1 on that, well, I'll start with number 2, because you know they both passed away. But E. Rodney Woods, aka the Honey Bear. When I was in college, and I was DJing a radio station, and then I would come to the city. I met him when he was DJing at Duke's Lounge.
Wow.
Duke's, that was unique because they had DJ thing in the middle, a dance floor on each side of them.
Where was Duke's at?
It was like on 60th and Prospect. It's kind of right around that little area.
Right.
But he was just so cool, and he had a real deep kind of sexy voice. And then, so sometimes I would come early and I would just talk to him. I'd tell him, hey man, I DJ at Auto University. I do parties and this, but I'm on a radio station. He gave me voice coaching lessons before the club would start. So I would come early and he would just talk to me about this, that, and he said the one thing you want to be, he said a lot of DJs can talk, but you be the one that can articulate.
Right.
Oh. Matter of fact, that's another thing Benny Shelby said he always liked about me. He said anytime we had something important, we know we wanted you to articulate it. And so I worked on all those things, and then and he gave me the smooth part. My biggest influence, number 1 on that list, is Leroy Rollins, aka Happy Leroy. Happy Leroy was like the first DJ when I was coming and going to clubs, and Leroy would just be, he would be in the booth having a ball.
What year was that?
This was like 1978, 79. It was Kathleen's, and actually when I met him, he was at some people remember this place in the Metro Plaza as Turner's, but before that it was called Club Swahili.
Wow.
Club Swahili.
And that was at 63rd and Meyer.
Yeah, I would come in there, and Leroy would just get hyped, and he'd play stuff, and he had a little voice, and he'd be saying things like, come on baby, well, we came to get the party started. He'd blow whistles and all this other stuff, and then I was like awestruck. And then everybody just having a good time, and so I just kind of studied that, and then kind of like Honey Bear, some of these guys had things they would do or phrases. Leroy had a couple of phrases that I just always loved, and I've incorporated them in my entire career. One of them is most of it involves when it's time to go. he'd say, he just, like, bye, 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 baby, bye, bye, bye. And I say it all the time. All right, everybody, it's time to go. Bye, 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 baby, bye, bye, bye. But my favorite, he said this in 2 different parts, but I put them together. He was getting frustrated because these guys wouldn't leave. He said, come on, fellas, y'all gotta go. Talk while you walk while you talk. And then about 10 minutes later, he was talking to the other guy, and he said, come on, man, you gotta go. You have to get the number outside. And so I said, oh. I put them 2 together, and I still use that today, but I get audience to participate. And so now I say, hey, what time is it? And everybody go, it's time to talk while you walk while you talk, fellas. Get the number outside, we gotta go. So it was those things, but when I would talk to him, actually a few years later, I was working at 3G's on 60th and Truce, and he had been kind of semi-retired from DJing, and I was going through what you call it? It's kind of almost like a holdout.
Gotcha.
Well, we're trying to get this raise we need.
Exactly.
And so I was frustrated, and one day Leroy kind of walked in the club, and I saw him, and I just went up and I said, Happy Leroy, I need to ask you something. What's that, my brother? What's that? I said, man, I'm trying to get this dude, man, to give me, I just want $5 more an hour. This, and that. And I said, man, I'm getting frustrated. I really don't know what to do. He put his arm around me, said, Roach, let me tell you something. Go get your money. I was like, oh, okay. So, but what I got from that is just go simply demand it. And if they don't give it to you, then go. So I went right back the next day, hey, I need my money. Seriously, y'all, I need my money. And they thought about it at the end of the night, I got a raise.
There it is. You worth your weight in gold. And I guess that's always been the biggest challenge for most DJs is doing what you love, but also being compensated equally for that.
Yeah, that's I have to be really honest. That's a challenge in our city.
Right.
It's a big challenge in our city because I would say that when I was DJing in the 90s, I would say I got paid maybe twice as much as people get paid.
Once again, we were with T-Roach, and as he was talking, he introduced a concept that I thought was very interesting, and that is Kansas City is known for its two-stepping, a dance that's usually done to slower type music. However, Chicago does more of a two-step, but it's kind of a six-step, I guess. We call it the Chicago style step. But anyway, to that point, Mr. T-Roach, what's the difference to you? What do you see the difference in styles and maybe just how it's handled within the city, how it's embraced or not embraced? Hit it.
Oh, wow. Well, I think the short answer really is each has its own uniqueness. The Chicago style it's real showman, flamboyant, and it's really beautiful to watch. They do a lot of interesting things, but they've made it 100% their culture. And it's kind of like what we have here in Kansas City. Two-stepping is a cultural thing. Ours is really, it's so unique. In my opinion, it's intimidating because when people haven't seen two-stepping, it's just so. To me, it's smoother. You know. That's why I couldn't say one was better than the others because
just different.
Because Chicago thing, I mean, it's so awesome to see, but the smoothness of Kansas City style two-stepping, I mean, couples doing this and that, it just makes it so wonderful to see. You know, Chicago does something. I will say this: there's one concern, you know, that I've had in over 40-something years of doing this, especially these last like 15 or 20. But when you go to Chicago, it's so much of a culture. The good part is they almost get you started from birth, from doing it. You know, the bad thing that I mean, if you want to call it bad, I've been to parties there where, you know, all the parties are like always packed and crowded. But when you're doing it, you know, you have to go to classes and take lessons, and you got all these different groups that you take lessons from, and then you get to the parties, and these people, they're dancing with the same people. And dancing with one from this set, or if you with this set. And then I've gone to ballroom parties there and seen just scores of tables of women just sitting there most of the night, waiting and praying for a line dance song or something. And because the different Chicago style, when they play a set, whoever you dancing with, you're gonna be dancing with them for about a half an hour or so, because it just keeps on going and they just keep on going. So, you know, I feel for them if they don't have partners, it could be a long night. But the one thing I will give Chicago credit for that I saw actually in the early 2000s, in a way I kind of wish we had it here. The sets in Chicago, they work together almost by rule. I mean, it's almost like a syndicate. Because I went there in 2009, and a couple of leaders, they took me to a meeting. And out of the meeting, I mean, it looked like organized crime table. I mean, the leaders of this one, all these were all around, and all they did was they mapped out like the next 3 months or 6 months. Everybody put down what events they were having, when they were having them, and they had it all down. But they had one serious rule, and it was this. They said it's too much out here for everybody not to eat. So their rule was simply this: if DJ V is having a party, Marsha, your people better be there. Sam, your people better be there. If Jerry's having a party, y'all better be there, y'all better be there, and y'all better be there. Everybody had to be at everybody's events. And if you wasn't, they vote you out. And you would be ostracized and all that. And I was like, damn.
Chicago's culture has always kind of been like that, though.
Here, it's so many. We got great organizations that now, what I really am so proud of them is we got a lot of now. There's no excuse for not learning how to two-step. There's too many people out here teaching. So you can get out here and learn, you know. But as a DJ, the complaint that I actually hear from most normal people is they feel like when they join a group or go to a group, well, when they get to the party, they're the only people they're going to associate with. And then they notice that this group doesn't go to this group's party, and this one's not going to this one's party, or you have a main thing. As a matter of fact, the last event that I recall that all the groups came together was our 2013 Dallas trip. We had 2 buses. We had them all there. Steppers of KC, Steptacular. You know, every group, everybody had a group and different social clubs. That was like one of the best united fronts we've had in a long time. And so my wish going forward is that all of these, look, I'll just say it directly to y'all. All of y'all that teach, that have classes and have parties and have events, promoters, go to everybody's. Bring everybody in. And don't just have stuff at the big clubs. Support the smaller clubs. Support the 6902s, the Pete's Places, the Club 31s.
Shout out.
We all grew up in our lifetime in small venues.
Where is Club 31?
Club 31 is at 927 East 85th Street between Truston Homes, formerly Rookies, formerly Nieces.
So, gotcha. Shout out to Club 31.
That's right.
Yes. So with that, Mr. T-Roach, we was going over a lot of the things that you've done outside of DJ booth. We got the one where you have organized dance tours, where you do line dancing and you go to different places. Dallas has been a very famous place. Are there any other things that you do outside of the booth of DJing that is related to DJing?
Oh, okay. I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Well, almost kind of everything, in my life, even the regular jobs. A lot of different jobs I've had, like when we have employee things, people kind of recognize me for stuff like that, and then they want me to just jump in and do something. I remember a few years ago, I was with Tony Keith, and we went to Wichita for their Rub and Groove thing, festival they used to have. And I remember Angela Winbush was performing, and I was just out there in the crowd, And then they had some little lull period. There was going to be some kind of delay, and some guy came to tap me and said he was a promoter, and he pulled me off to the side, and he said, "Aren't you T-Roach?" He said, "Don't you do line dance and this and that?" He said, "Well, we need about 15 minutes. Can you help us?" I said, "What do you want me to do?"
Right.
I ended up on stage, on stage, taking them through a couple of line dances just to buy those few minutes. But the crowd really enjoyed it. But actually, probably the best thing is what I do now. Now, I'm like, for Chiefs games, football games, I'm the MC / color commentary person. So when Chiefs games come on at Club 31 or whatever, I'm the one there before the game. I'm the one getting everybody hyped before the game. Right. When the game goes on, something happens, touchdown Kansas City, I got the music going, you know, and I get the chop going and all that. But then I'm also the one that lets them know when something may have went down, like this play happened, and I go, "No, you guys, look, I know they're gonna go to replay, but here's why it's gonna get overturned, because the rule says A, B, C, D, and E. Yeah. Don't worry about what you saw. Understand the rule is this." Right. And then as the year would go, I would have a lot of ladies come up and tell me, "You know, I didn't really know that much about football, but okay, we come here because of you."
Beautiful. Well, that's a beautiful deal.
So it's just fun. Hopefully take this all the way to Super Bowl.
That sounds good. Within that, what's the future of DJ T-Roach?
Well, the future of DJ T-Roach, you know, in all these years, like probably some other DJs that's been around a while, you start thinking like you're gonna call it quits and retire. I probably tried to quit 2 or 3 times, but it's like that Godfather 3. Every time I try to get out, they pull you back. But what I think the reason behind that, now the future is, I'm gonna do it as long as people enjoy it, because I don't do it for me. So as long as people enjoy it, then I'll continue to do it. God keep me in good enough health. And then my advice to others is coming up, you know, find something about yourself that's unique to the profession. You know, like for example, why am I still here doing it? Well, everybody can be like a 2-step DJ. Everybody can go to the party and play 2-steppers. And then we got people out there, super technicians. You see all this? They got Seratos and all this other stuff, and they can mix and scratch and do all this other stuff. You know, they've got to be masters at that. So you ask yourself, what can I do? And so the things that's carried me is, and what I'm, again, super proud of, I'm the only DJ, line dance instructor, line dancer in the city.
Yeah. Well, how did you get the name T-Roach?
Oh, well, you know what? Now that this is on camera, a lot of people gonna hear this story for the first time.
Oh boy.
But the short version of it is my real name is Tansy Rochelle Moore. An uncle of mine named me Rochelle. Growing up as a kid, you know, I didn't understand. Of course, you know, I had to go through elementary school and junior high school being teased by your middle name being Rochelle, the girl's name, and I used to like almost hate it for a while. But the irony was that as I got older and you know, people start shortening it, to call you Roach and all this stuff, and then when I got to college, nobody in college calls you by your given name. So in college I was everything, T, TR, T Moore, Roach, this and that. And I had actually joined and became a part of the school's radio station. And then they came up with this concept. They wanted everybody to have their own show, and the show had to have a name. And so I had about a week to come up with a name. So I was downtown Ottawa, Kansas, Ottawa University, at a t-shirt shop, and I was in the shop and I said, you know, I need to get a shirt so everybody stopped calling me a bunch of different names. So I got a t-shirt that I put on the back, just call me T-Roach. And then came back, named the radio program T-Roach Approach in 1977, and that's how it all got started.
Wow, beautiful. I love that. That's a great story. So why did you get started in DJing? What you love it, or you like it, or you hate it? Why you get started in DJing?
Well, it's one of those things I really didn't know at the time. because actually growing up as a kid, I actually used to be petrified of dancing. I used to miss little school dances, like in junior high and all that, because I was just a big sports fan. I've been watching sports since I probably could talk, since I was 5, 6 years old. I saw my first Chiefs game when I was like 7 years old, and so. But when I actually went to when I went to school, I kind of got fascinated with the school's radio station. It was a contemporary Christian station, but they had like a couple of nights, the music was diverse. They had rock programs, a country program, and then a couple of R&B programs. And then one of the guys that was DJing there invited me up to the station, and I just kind of went up there and hung out. And then after a couple of times, I just got kind of excited and thought, I think this is something I'd like to do. So I went and changed my major from business to communications, and it started from there.
And what year was that?
Oh, I graduated from Ottawa University in 1981.
Okay, but you started DJing a little bit before that, because I saw your resume.
Yeah. Well, I actually my senior year at Central High School in '76, the last 2 years, '75 and '76, I actually had a great reputation for having some of the best house parties with those console stereos.
Oh boy. So we'll put it in 1975 then. That's when the introduction of T-Roach came into place.
Yeah, 44 years.
Wow, beautiful, beautiful. So with that, give it up for him.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
All right, no problem.